Hello, it's Miss Lauren here from the West Fargo Public Library, here with this week's Let's Make Craft. Today we're making royal families. To do this, we're going to use cardboard tubes, some scrapbook paper, and a piece of cardstock. If you got the library kit, you'll also receive some sparkles, sequins, and some googly eyes as well. And the last thing in your kit will be some yarn. The other things you'll need is a pair of scissors, markers, and glue or tape. So to start our royal family members, first thing you have to decide which family member you want to make. You can make a king, queen, princess, whatever royal family member you want to make. Once you have that decided, then we'll grab our scrapbook paper and one of our cardboard tubes. The first thing we do is add their clothing. So you want to start from the bottom and work your way up. One thing to remember is we want to keep some space at the top. That's where your face will be added and your hair and your crown. So the clothes can't go all the way up or we won't have room for the eyes. So we just have to keep that in mind as we go. So I'm going to make a king here, so we're going to start with some pants. If you were to make a queen or a princess, you could do one long piece for a dress, however you'd like to do this here. So in your kit, or if you have other paper at home, you can use that too. We just use some paper, scrapbook paper, to add a little decoration there. If you don't want to use the pattern, you can always use the backside here that's white and decorate it with your markers or just leave it blank. The tricky thing is we have to make sure we have enough paper to perfectly cover the outside, but also not too much paper that it covers up too much of our tube. So to do that, we have to do a little measuring here. So I only want to go up maybe about that far on my tube, so I'm actually just going to use this tube to help me measure, almost like a ruler. So I'll grab a marker here and draw a couple lines, then roll my tube down and mark the other spot where I want to cut. So I'll grab my scissors and cut right between these two lines here. The other place we want to measure is just to make sure we have not too much, but just a little bit of an overlap here, so it'll stick nice and well. If it's too long, you can always do that same rolling place again and just mark on the inside of the paper like that. Now I'm going to grab my glue. I'm going to attach this to our cardboard tube here. So you want to make sure we press all around, tight at the end. I'm just going to add a little piece of tape right here for a little extra stability. Now we have a nice pair of pants for our king here. The next part, we want to decide what we want to do for the top. So we could do another scrapbook paper, we could do another different pattern, or what I'm going to try today is to do a white shirt so I can decorate it later. So again, we kind of have to decide how far up or down we want to go with this, while still leaving room for the face up here. And you know, I think this shirt might be just about the right size, so I'm not going to cut any off this time. I'm just going to cover it in glue and glue it down. Alright, our next step is actually going to be to add the hair. So we have kind of two steps for the hair. What we're going to do is use the yarn to make almost like a pom-pom if you've made that before, or wrap a bunch of pieces together. We're going to stick it down on the inside and then sort of spread it out along the top of our royal family member here. And then we actually give it a little haircut depending on the length we want. So you do have to think of that if you want some longer hair. You'll want to use longer string here, or shorter hair. You can always trim it down a bit as well. So to make sort of the pom-pom, we're just going to wrap it around our fingers as long as we want. It's going to end up being about this long once it's over the side. So it's going to be a little bit shorter hair. If you want longer, you just got to make longer strands. You can also just glue in strands individually or tape them down, whatever works to get them around the edge here. So when I get towards the end, what I'm actually going to do is wrap the string around the bottom and tie a nice knot down here so it's nice and tight and these strings will stay together. So we have kind of the loose strings up here that we'll cut apart. And then we have strings tied together down here. So now what we're going to do is glue or tape this kind of pom-pom ball down in here. And then once that's done, then we'll cut all of these and kind of spread them out around the top. And I'm going to add a piece of tape down the bottom as well. Just give it that extra stability down there. So now is when we're going to grab the scissors and do a little hair cutting. So we're going to cut all of those loops apart. We'll start to kind of see them spread out, fall down. And then as you can see, it's starting to fall over the edge like hair. Now what we'll do is put a little glue right under the hair so we can glue it down a little bit more. It's okay if it's a little puffy or not perfect. We are going to put a crown on top of this, so it'll hide some of this part here. So now it's down a little bit more. Alright, so the last step for the hair is to give it the haircut. As you see, it's kind of all uneven, which is okay. We're just going to try to even it out a little bit, whatever length we would like. So we have a little more even hair now. Now we'll go on to making our crown to help hold that hair down. Alright, so for the crown, you can kind of make whatever shape you want. We just did kind of a pointy shape. This is where some of those sequins will come in handy as well. And again, we're going to do similar to what we did with the clothing as well. We'll wrap it around the tube, make sure we have the right size. For this though, you're going to use the cardstock. It's a little sturdier and it will stand up a little straighter when it doesn't have the tube supporting it. So first thing we'll do is just measure out the size of our cardstock, make sure it's about right, just a little overlap, perfect. Alright, so now we're going to decide on what shape of our crown we want to do. So we could do a circle, you could do a straight line. I'm going to do another pointed top crown. And we're going to grab our scissors and just cut along those lines. Now you can decorate your crown as well. We colored ours yellow gold here. So I'm going to do that again this time, but you can use whatever colors you'd like. You can leave it white. Alright, so now we have our nice gold color. Now would be a good time if you want to add any of the sequins or decorations, sparkles, if you want to do a design on there. It's easier to add it in when it's flat than when you have it circular up on the head. Alright, so I have my added detail on my crown. Now, just kind of like what we did with the pants and the shirt, we're going to do that with the crown. The trick with the crown, we can't go too low or we don't have room for the face. We can't go too high or it's going to fall off. So we have to find just the right spot and wrap it around the hair. And then you'll just add a little bit of glue or tape on the back here to help hold it together. So we have 2 steps left. The next step is to draw on the face, and the final step is to add any details or decorations we want to the outfit or to the crown if you haven't done that yet. So if you got a kit from the library, we did give you some googly eyes to add in. You can always just use the markers as well. Alright, so the last step then to add would be if I want to do any added decoration. So we could draw some buttons on here if we'd like. Maybe a line for the pants. On this one here, I used some extra scrapbook paper to make a sash and add a little star. You can do whatever details you would like. Another thing you could do would be to add some arms. So you could use extra paper again, cut out little strips for the arms. Or even if you wanted, you could make a shirt with arms on it. Just not glue it down all the way, have it stick out a little bit. So it's really up to you how you want to create your royal families. And that would be the last step. So you can make your whole family, your whole royal family here using just these supplies. So you can go on your way and make your own stories with your royal families. Thank you for joining us for our Let's Make Summer Reading Program crafts. This is actually our last one for the 2020 Summer Reading Program.